Oh shit, I have to sit up straight.
Hello, everyone. I am here with another interview, but this time it is me, and I'm kind of being put under the firing squad since a couple of my community members from my community team have stepped up to do this interview. So I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves. It's late. I've done a lot of interviews. I can't talk. This is going to go really well. So go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Right, so my name is Chaos. I've been with the MPCI group, the Bombs Bar, for what is it, like over a decade now, more than 10 years. And I met Kshal on FanFest, and she dragged me in.
You asked. To be fair, you asked.
And it's potato, potato.
And Amoni?
Well, I volunteered myself, so I'm Amoni Panala. I've been involved in a number of MPSI stuff. I am a big fan of Bombers Bar as a junior FC. I kind of have a bias towards them, and yeah, wormholer, by the way.
Join Worm Life. Anyways, go ahead.
So, as you said in the introduction, you've been interviewing a lot of people. Now it's your turn. Simple question: who are you, and why should we be interested? Why should we care?
So I'm Kshal Aideron. I am the founder of Everkeys, and I have become the brand new CEO of Worm Life as of this year, 2025. These are two gigantic communities within Eve, both public, both MPSI more or less. So I got my start in Eve about 5.5 years ago now, and I was determined to be a solo player, but the MPSI community found me and dragged me in, kicking and screaming, and here I am. So I fly with Fun Inc., that is Kshal's corporation, part of the Ancients, and we put on a Nubro roam once every other week and Raptor roam twice a week. We are also the home of the MPSI.rocks calendar, so if you're looking for a fleet, that's always a good place to go and look. I've also been flying with Bombers Bar for Jeepers a long time. It's one of my second favorite types of fleets. I love going out in my Falcon and making someone's day a really bad one. Ours a really good one. And then, of course, there's Eve Rookies. So I started this 4.5 years ago. It was just meant to be a little incursion group to bring down the bar of incursion fleets for new players. And it kind of has spiraled out of control over the last 4.5 years. It has gone from doing just incursions to literally anything that you can shove into a fleet. You name it, we have done a fleet with it. And we're now almost 4,600 people strong. So, yeah, I've done a lot. My expertise is the new player experience, as well as community building within Eve, and of course, I've sat on the CSM20 as CCP's pick.
Yeah, way to just take out like 3 of my questions in this introduction. Well, that's fine. I got plenty more for you. So we're doing this interview because you're running for CSM as a CSM candidate. You have been in the CSM before. What is similar to this candidacy, and what is different from earlier?
So I started running as a 2-year-old player in the game for CSM17, and of course, at that point, my world was e-rookies and the new player experience, working with new players coming in and just helping them navigate the whole entire cliff that Eve is. It's expansive, you know. So between CSM17 and now, I have gotten a lot more experience. Every year, I learn more things, do more things, get dragged into more things, and my experience has just, I've gone from just being an expert in Nubro PvP to a little bit of everything. My love will always be community building and new player experience, but this year it's focusing on undocking. Why people sit there and spin their ships instead of going out and getting involved in something, doing something. So that's really where it's kind of changed this year. It's gone from new players to everyone.
Yeah. Okay. You also have been interviewing other CSM candidates. Why?
So I want to share the spotlight with other people. One of the reasons that I started Eve Rookies is I don't want to be the only one out there running stuff. I want to elevate other people around me and see them grow and go off and establish their own projects and corps and whatever else they want to do in Eve. It only benefits Eve Rookies and benefits myself as the person that, got them to where they're going. So it's the same thing with the interviews. I have a platform. I have eyeballs. Why not share the spotlight? It's not doing me any damage. And I have made a lot of friends and networked. My network has expanded every year. And I have quite a few little projects going on with different people. I mean, the people that step up and do CSM are going to be the leaders of tomorrow. They are interested in the game. They're going to do something interesting. So I want to be part of it.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I mean, that also, I guess, reflects on what you do in Eve Rookies. Just, have a platform for other people to do.
Yep, exactly.
Just give them, 2 billion ISK so they can buy ships and then mob them in fleets.
Pretty much. And SRP, they're quaif and strippers.
Yeah, I mean, you told them to send the mail, so I told them to send the mails, and they did. Right, let's talk a bit about you as a person, as a player. What do you do, outside of Eve?
So, Eve is a pretty big part of my life these days. But for, real life, my job is being a community manager. Funny enough, I actually got this job this time last year, and it was because of Eve Rookies. And I have other communities that I have dealt with, but Eve Rookies was the big one because I've grown this 40, I think that point last year was 3,800 player Discord, and that was a great interest of what I could possibly do with their community. When I'm not working, I can be, jeepers, I like other games, so I play a lot of Baldur's Gate and Cyberpunk 2077. I tabletop board game, so I run a couple games for friends locally, and I love going to theme parks.
Yeah, just been back from Disneyland, as I understood.
Pretty much.
Nice. So, do you have a cat, and would you wear cat ears? Obviously, very important in Eve.
I have 2 cats. One that I just adopted here a couple weeks ago. And yes, I would wear cat ears. As a matter of fact, I think I have cat ears up in one of my cabinets.
Nice.
Will you at least make a meme push for cat ears as a item in game?
Yes, absolutely. I would be honored to make that push, especially after meeting Jintan at FanFest this year and getting some cat ears from him.
Nice. So, you already said you've joined Eve 5 years ago. You started doing communities and the Fun Inc. You started just doing all the NPSI stuff. But what about Eve kept you going, kept you inside of it?
It has to be the people. I mean, there's a reason I don't play Elder Scrolls anymore. I used to be a huge Elder Scroll player. And even EverQuest, that's where I got my start in MMOs. EverQuest kind of died when everyone in my server moved to the European server, and I was still on the US server. I didn't have anyone to play with. Elder Scrolls Online, same thing. My guild just kind of slowly dwindled away until I was the only one logging in, and that's not fun. But, being able to log in... Actually, being able to jump into a Discord channel and suddenly I have 5 people there chattering at me, I find that a lot of fun. So I get to interact and meet new people, and it keeps me going.
Yeah, so what you're saying is Eve is about the players.
Absolutely.
Gee, that's an original take.
What can I say? It is the friendship machine. It's
How would you describe Eve in 3 words that isn't like spreadsheets online or spreadsheets in space?
giant, expansive, and jeepers, I don't know, takes over my life.
That sounds about right. Giant, expensive, and life-taking.
Yeah,
Eve is a job.
it is.
It is. It is. Also, if you had to choose between like the game, in-game success, you're very close to 1 trillion ISK, but not there yet. You get big explosions, or you should choose between your community or your role as like your CSM candidacy. Which one should you choose and why?
I would probably have to choose the community. I love explosions. There's a reason that I come out to Bomber's Bar, because I get to see very big explosions. The getting to 1 trillion ISK is kind of a meme thing. Like I say, I want that screenshot. And being CSM, it does mean a lot to me. I really want to be on the council again, because there's so much that is left unsaid and undone. But at the end of the day, I would have to take my community at any point, because CSM is going to come and go. Everything else is going to come and go, but I want the community to live on.
As someone who manages such a large community, both in game and through Discord, are there tools that that are kind of like your personal, like, I would really like to see this improved in game, right? We've seen a number of improvements to the corporation management UI and things like that, but are there things that you would like to see personally that CCP could potentially roll out in the next few years?
Yeah, of course. I think one of the number one things is the Fleet Finder. It is absolutely stinking pile of garbage. And when they revitalized it and made a big deal about it, I can remember even getting into a fight with CCP Ice Cream about it, because I said some very unkind things about it in a public space, and they wanted to know why. And they just could not, they had no justifications. There's a reason the MPSI calendar works so well, and why MPSI itself works very, very well. For those of you who don't know what MPSI is, it's called Not Purple Shoot It. So basically, today we're friends, tomorrow if we're on the opposite fleets, we're going to melt each other's face off. So what makes MPSI tick is being able to schedule fleets ahead of time. We're all really busy people. The median age of EVE players is probably around between 30 and 40 years old. We have busy lives, we have family, and we want to schedule around all that. So they go and they revitalize the Fleet Finder, and they leave scheduling out. This is even after having a in-depth conversation with a couple of us from the MPSI community where we stressed this, and they managed to leave it out. So yeah, I think the in-game Fleet Finder would be absolutely amazing for public communities that have no real presence in the game, no corporation or alliance, if they could get the scheduling added in there. Maybe even incorporate, those calendars that nobody uses in the game. And then the freelance projects. Freelance projects was something that I pushed very, very heavily for in CSM18. They had announced it, I want to think, at FanFest 2023? I think they did it in the keynote, and I just this is going to be amazing for public communities, especially those of us that don't have anything in-game. We have a corporation for our FCs, that's about it. So, at the end of my term, I brought it up again, are you guys going to even do this? And it's just will people use it? Well, yeah. I think I got around 50 communities, public communities, that would potentially use it, when they just told me, okay, you can stop. So, of course, now we see that it came in a game, and there's so much more that we can do with it to make it more useful. So I would dearly love to get my fingers in there and get into the whatever they called the team working on it now. and give them ideas and, how public groups would potentially use it.
Sounds good. Sounds like the Fleet Finder, we used calendar, but like the out of game stuff, it wouldn't be the first time they implemented something out of game in game.
Yep.
Or at least what they did with the API, make it better, like with CKill.
Yep.
So there's opportunities there. If you could introduce a new ship to the game, or a new mechanic, new feature, what would it be?
Oh God. This is going to sound really, really stupid, but I want a fleet warp hotkey. And maybe even a fleet jump hotkey.
I like it. A fleet warp hotkey, yeah. I mean, you already have the warp fleet to whatever. The function is already there. They just need to make it a hotkey.
Yeah, exactly. How many times I forget just because I forget to right click.
Yep. That sounds like that should be easy. That could dev could knock that out in a few days, maybe.
You would think. Don't think I didn't ask for this in CSM18. I had people's captive attention.
Right. So talking about doing fleets, what is your gameplay experience? Like in the preparation of this interview, you asked me absolutely to not talk about null soft mechanics. So I guess instead of asking you about sovereignty hubs or skyhooks, I would like to know how you staying informed. How would you stay informed about mechanics and gameplay features outside of your daily Eve?
Well, I mean, we have 4,600 people in Eve Rookies that come from every walk of life. So, I mean, when we look at the leadership alone, we have Goons, we have Brave, we have Horde, bunch of MPSI. Within the community team, we have people from every single corporation out there. And then if you go into the line members, I mean, people that we haven't even heard of. So I hear a lot of, chatter about mechanics that come out. So, I'm not oblivious to it. And especially, I'm constantly talking to the current CSM and CCP and stuff like that. So it's not like I'm blind to the stuff coming out. There's some stuff that I just may not care. If there's changes to the Skinner, for example, don't ask me about them. I really don't care. But,
you don't want all golden ships everywhere?
If people want that, that's fine. You do you. And, ship balancing and stuff like that, that's a game in and itself, especially how it changes fits and whatnot. So, I know this stuff is coming, but unless it affects my fleets that, we're running directly, I don't really pay attention to a lot more. And it's not because, I don't care. What the great thing about the CSM is there's 12 seats. So if that's not my strong suit, which it's not, anything having to do with fitting or balancing or anything like that, not my strong suit. But I don't have to be good at everything. At the end of the day, I don't have to know everything. I don't have to be good at everything.
Yeah, you said it earlier. Your area of expertise is the Nubro experience, is doing MPSI. It's not null blocks, it's not wormholes, although you are the CEO of Worm Life. But
for good or evil, yes.
So, but those areas being your area's expertise, your specialty, do you have insights from running those aspects of the game that you could bring to the CSM?
Yes, and I have. One of the things that I do is I put out tutorials on, how to do things, because either it's lacking in the game or people have put out 30-minute videos on a concept that takes 30 seconds. Now, I know why they're doing this. I'm in the digital marketing SEO world. But it's stupid. It's not helping anyone in the game. So I get to do a lot of the new player experience frequently. So one of the things that I would dearly love to broach this time around is CCP really wants people to get into PvP. Obviously, it's a PvP game. CCP has set it up so that really low sec is, and faction warfare should be the lowest barrier of entry. However, once you're done with your career missions, all you really have is the air career program that tells you to go out and, capture a plex. And plus the opportunities. You have the opportunities, the daily opportunities. Capture a plex. Well, what does that mean? Am I going to go out and find a piece of plex floating around in space and capture it? Or, am I going to go and find the actual site in a low-sec system that is a complex? This isn't explained anywhere. And so if CCP really wants to be able to bridge this gap, we need to talk about how new players are using the MPE, using the air career missions, using the daily opportunities, and bridging that, especially since I just recently got into faction warfare and I knew nothing about it and had to have it explained to me. And I've been playing, 5 years at that point.
I've been playing Eve for 13 years now, like over a decade actively with Bombers Bar. I learn something every single day.
Yeah.
Like every single day you learn something new. So
this actually touches on one of the questions I had prepared, which is just about the new player experience, because over the past 5 years or so, there's been dramatic improvements to the way it works and what is actually in the new player experience.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of PvP, right, I think there's destroy X number of ships, and that's part of that ties into the air career goals.
Yep.
But I'm wondering if you had ideas about how to encourage players to try out PvP before they get to that point where they're mining an adventure and the first time they ever experience PvP is getting ganked by someone in a catalyst.
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about with the whole bridging the gap from, the career missions to faction warfare. If we had something in there that explained a little bit more about what to expect and lured people over, maybe, so something that, we talked about on Untethered and kind of formed a little idea, why not have missions, like faction warfare missions, that go out into the very front lines. So those systems that border the low sec and high sec, and do a little bit of poking around, get over the fear of, going in someplace scary. And from there, you can factor in to, try lock up a ship, just go out into low sec and lock up a ship somewhere or blow up. CCP tried hard with, you wake up and you go get your Astero and then it gets blown up. And there's, I think, 2 career missions where you blow up, but it doesn't actually teach any real skills. So yeah, if they had something in there where they just kind of direct you out to, okay, this is how you tackle someone. Use, your warp disrupt or your scram or your web, and it has to come in something like mission form. It's not working with their little videos that they have along in the air career mission.
Yeah. The little explainer videos.
Yeah.
For both of those things, you need, out of game, you go to YouTube, you start, just looking at content people created.
I mean, it's it's like an MOTD. Nobody reads it.
I mean, why would you, look at a 30-minute video, of somebody explaining, hey, this is what, the tackling means, or even for Bombers Bar, I know I've made the video how to take a Black Ops bridge. And the first edition, the first take I made was 3-4 minute video, explaining all the details, how to do this, how to warp cloaked, and everything. what the most effective one was like you said, the 30-second one. It's just like, be cloaked, warp to this, use your radio menu, jump, shoot things. Like, that's the 30-second video. That one is mostly linked together with the GIF. And like, that explains it. But that takes out-of-game stuff. That takes joining a fleet. That takes talking to others.
Yep. Like I say, whatever it is, the air career missions fulfills a goal. You know, they're doing some gamification there, and it will get some people. But I think it really is going to take a mission, maybe in career mission style, to actually get people out to, you know, lock something up, lose a ship, try to PvP, even if it's going to be very badly. And I've heard all sorts of other suggestions, like bring back the arena in order to let like new players battle each other. So once you become like 2 weeks old or something, you can no longer go into the arena, or you maybe get 3 ships and you have to go and try to PvP with each other with those 3 ships. So I've heard
different tiers, yeah.
What was that?
Different tiers of the arena.
For example, so I've heard, like, say, a lot of different ideas, but of course, you know, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to CCP wanting to, CCP having time to, and it working into their timeline as well, because a lot of people don't realize, but they already know what's going to be coming in game, you know, several years down the road, or what they want to.
Yeah. I guess that's also one of the biggest misconceptions about CSM. You're not like, hey, we want this in the game, go make it.
Mm-hmm.
You are, well, as I understand, you're your feedback platform. You know, you receive feedback from the players and you give it to CCP, and they can ask you like, hey, you know, we have this idea. You signed the NDA. We're gonna make this and this and this in the next few years. What do you think about it? Like, yeah.
Yeah, so typically the first meeting, well, at least for us, our first real meeting was laying out what was going to happen during our term. So that was one major expansion, and then the fall expansion, a minor expansion. And then we kind of got to see a little bit farther out at some point. Now, I don't know if they're sticking to that or not. It's a development company, you know, they're going to be flexible. They're going to go whatever way the trends are going, or, you know, if the players are going this way, they may go that way as well. Then we get to have input in on it, you know, whether it's a good idea, bad idea, what our player base is going to think about it. But there are opportunities to actually, you know, get in there and create something. I had a lot of influence with Homefronts. So I saw a lot of that come into effect. Like, say, freelance projects. I got to say, you know, got to give a lot of input on that. Surprisingly, at some point, the incursion community, we had a big problem with a couple gankers popping the mothership, Mom, as soon as she became aggressible. And they held the incursion community, high-sec incursion community, hostage since November 2023 until June 2024. And I finally got CCP's eyes on it, and they wanted to do something about it. So I actually got quite a bit of input on, you know, what the solution was. So, you know, that was pretty cool. At the end of the day, they're going to say yes or no. But, yeah, you know, when we listed it out, if you can work within, like, the frame of the game, you can actually get quite a bit pushed through. Little quality of life things. I don't think you're ever going to, you know, if they want to go out and completely change Sov, like they did, you know, during CSM18, you're not going to stop them. That's a pipe dream for any CSM. But, you know, it's the little things that we actually have quite a bit of.
You see it in the patch notes where there's the little the head icon, like, you know, this change got influenced by player feedback.
Yep. I don't think I got the little icon when they changed the mothership.
I don't know.
I grumbled about it a little bit.
It was me. I did it.
It was a plan.
Speaking of taking in feedback, so there's been discussion among the Wormhole UN, which is, like, for those who don't know, the wormhole UN is basically representatives from a bunch of different wormhole groups that discuss basically everything about living in wormholes and the things they'd like to see change, things that they like, reporting bugs and things like that. So one of the things that came up in discussion was that there's a major friction point for new players, and that is the Magic 14. They're essential skills that allow for fitting ships properly, and general ship performance in all aspects of gameplay, right? Doesn't matter what you're doing, these 14 skills improve your experience. But the problem is that none of these skills are fun to train. They take 76 days to train to 5. They are essential, but you're not unlocking ships when you train these skills. You're not unlocking new weapons or cool modules to play with. It's all just behind the scenes stat bumping skills. And one of the solutions that was floated was, what if new players could earn these skills just by engaging with the MPE, with the new player experience? Is that a solution that you could see yourself advocating for? And if not, what would be an alternative? How differently might you approach this problem, if you see it as a problem at all?
It definitely is a problem. I can look back at my my real start in EVE, where my husband decided that I was going to train the Magic 14 and only the Magic 14. And it sucked. I didn't get to do anything fun for quite a while. I may have taken out my credit card and swiped it in order to progress a little bit. The good news is it's not as bad as it was 5.5 years ago. At some point, and I want to think it was about 1.5 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, when CCP updated some stuff in the MPE, depending on your faction, you get at least one level in all of the Magic 14 except for one skill. And I can't remember off the top of my head what that one is, but you get at least one. And most of them are up to 3 or 4. So it's not as horrible as it was, years ago. Which means, with the 1 million skill points, you actually have room for a lot more fun stuff. Where, we get day 1 players and EVE rookies that can skill into our praxis for incursions and come out with us, for example. So I know for a fact that, players can, if they know what they're doing, can put their points into some fun stuff. Now, knowing what I know, and without breaking the NDA, I don't think that having them be able to earn stuff while interacting with the MPE, the air career missions, and whatnot, is realistic. This would require CCP to redo the entire NPE again. And since they just did it, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago now, I can't see them wanting to put the time and effort into that again. What I think could be a reasonable compromise, and instead of either giving them all the skill points all at once or other things that just don't fit into the build of the game, what if they get to Frigate 5 and we give them all 4 frigates? Because when you skill into, Frigate 5 on Caldari, why do I have to train the other 3? I'm not going to fly those any better if I have to wait. All the ships are almost the same. Maybe once you get up, and I'm not a capital pilot, but maybe once you get up into capitals and titans and stuff like that, it might be a little bit different for subcaps. I mean, really, it's not that different between the ships. Stiletto and a Malediction, they are essentially the same thing, just a different faction, a little bit different skills or stats. So that would be my suggestion as a compromise. And then you get, all the fun stuff at once, but you still have to wait a little bit to skill up.
there's also like some sort of reward satisfaction in actually training, and training up, and even the Magic 14. Like I just spun up a new account, new tune, and just seeing like, okay, I trained like Capacitor Management 5. It took me a week. That sucked, but now I suddenly like am cap stable in all my,
Yep.
the tiny little ship that I'm flying.
So something I did when I got my second account, I wanted a market alt, and I put all of the skill point, all the million skill points and everything into all market stuff, and nothing into the Magic 14. Then I went out to haul something a couple systems over, and my lord, it was miserable. The amount of time it took to align and to really do anything. So it is important. It really is important. But yeah, I don't think there is a reason that you have to wait, 75 days to be
Yeah,
a little bit better.
just to be able to play the game on the level like everybody else is.
Yeah. But also, people have to realize there's a lot of things that you can do while you're waiting. People think that you need all these skills in order to have fun, and you really don't. I mean, whenever I get a chance, I fly a 3 mil Griffin, and I do it on an alpha character quite a bit for faction warfare, and have an absolute blast. So, I mean, if you look at it that way, there is a lot you can do while waiting to train up. You're just not going to be able to do the big flashy, this is Eve video trailer stuff.
Do you think that there is something that CCP could implement to try and help new players feel like they can be a part of the Eve story, even as they wait to train some of these more lengthy skills?
Yeah, and I think it revolves around faction warfare, to be completely honest. This goes back to what I was saying about, missions going to the front lines. When they first announced these frontline missions, this is what we thought that they all were, is, like transporting stuff out to, the faction to help with the war and stuff like that, where you can actually, if you do the mission so many times, you can actually help change it a little bit. So I think things like that, where you make the game a little bit more dynamic and it reacts to what you're doing. On the other hand, CCP doesn't have the greatest track record with this. If we all remember the Triglavian invasion snafu, so, but yeah, they have the tooling. They have the tooling to make things a little bit more dynamic and react to people, and I think that definitely could help with people feeling like they're, making a difference.
But that's where the CSM comes into. Right, so we've talked about like who you are as a person, as a player, your gameplay experience, a lot about like your personal goals, what to do in CSM and everything. But I'm wondering, let's talk a bit more about like your CSM candidacy. That's what the interview is about anyway. Right, so outside of Eve, I'm a nurse. I'm real life logi. There we have something we call the miracle question. If you have a magic wand and you can change anything without any repercussions, without pissing anybody off, what would you change? Not considering the things you already said, like the fleet finder, scheduling, freelance projects. Is there anything else?
I would make it so that CCP takes toxicity, bullying, harassment more seriously. Today I had a chance to interview someone, and after the interview, he was showing me some screenshots of how players treat him, and everyone thinks that it's just okay, and it's not. It kind of broke my heart a little bit. I constantly have players come and tell me that, they're being harassed, but because it's on third-party tooling like Discord or Reddit, CCP won't do anything.
It's outside their jurisdiction, so to speak.
Yeah. So that if I had that magic wand and I could affect some sort of change without consequences, that is probably what I would use it for, is to, make sure that people who are within our game that treat other people this way couldn't anymore.
Are there steps that you think CCP could take to bring us in that direction?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that everyone has to remember, every single one of us that has a EVE Discord, we're using the EVE IP. Whether we're a partner or we're just, an owner, that is definitely EVE IP. And by harboring this crap on your server, you're breaking the EULA, you're breaking the TOS. So I think that CCP probably could take that angle. I know of a group who likes to take screenshots and show people's tiers, and it gets pretty bad sometimes, really, really toxic. But once again, it's in-game screenshots clearly showing that EVE IP. So I think if they really wanted to, they could take that angle. And I know it's a big thing to take on, but it's still a piece of their, universe, a piece of their company. So they should do something about it.
Right. It's their reputation on the line.
Yeah.
Sorry for the noisy co-pilot.
That's fine. That's why you have cats.
Yeah, mine are just sitting, sleeping like cats should be.
Mine's underneath my desk.
Same. Right. Jeez. I did not expect such a heavy topic, that you would talk about toxicity. I could have known, but
come on, you had to know.
I asked it. I could have known. But it takes the wind out of my next few questions. So let's do a curveball. What fleet role would describe you the best? Like, are you hard tackle? Are you DPS? Are you EWAR support? Logi?
Ooh.
And why? Obviously.
I would say that I'm probably EWAR. I do fly EWAR often in fleets because I really like giving people a bad day sometimes. I like throwing the odds in the favor of my fleet and, just giving someone else a bad day.
Yeah, that sounds good. You're a 3 mil Griffin,
Sometimes it's 3.2 if they gave me a T2 drone.
Oof, damn.
I know.
That's gonna hurt your SRP wallet.
Tell me about
You'll
it.
never get your trillion ISK.
Oh, they haven't SRP'd me my Griffins anyways. They told me to go into my wallet and do it myself.
Right, so CCP is talking about Eve forever. How would you like to see Eve evolve in the next year or next 2 years?
I'd just like it to keep alive. My character is now subbed to 2089, so yeah, it just needs to stay alive. Now, in all honesty, I would love to see it still evolve, still to have new things for people to discover. I think going, with the 2D map, the flat map, is an awesome way to bring some new life to the game. I don't know if I would ever use it because I like having my map on my second screen, but it's there for people who want to continue the stories. I'm really hoping that they continue on with the Drifter story now that they brought it back a little bit. Yeah, just keep going, evolving. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that was fun.
But I don't really think that we need to put our blood into, the paper of a poem.
No, that sounded like a cult when they ended that at FanFest. Just what was it? The skin leather books and then writing blood. Yeah, that was like, are they being serious now? But you never know with with CSP.
Yeah, I don't know on that one, but we just don't need to be Eve forever like that.
Yeah, no, not like that at least. Right. Just since I'm an MPSI, FC as well. Let's talk a few MPSI specific, just details for your CSM. You already talked about like MPSI not purple shooted. But like, what does it mean to you? And maybe more importantly, what does like MPSI mean to the whole Eve ecosystem?
Well, to me personally, it means that I can play the way I want, when I want, and how I want. When I fell into the MPSI community, I had already seen my husband out in nullsec, and he was being told when he could undock, when he couldn't undock, because they're at war. People shouldn't be out. There's not going to be defense. Blah 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 blah. You have to do this, otherwise we're going to kick you out of the fleet because your PAPs are too low or whatever. That didn't sound like fun to me, to be completely honest. So 2 weeks, I think it was 2 weeks into playing, he sent me a interview that Jintan did with a lady called Greygal, and she ran the New Bro Roams through Redemption Road. And Redemption Road came from Agony Unleashed, which kind of started the whole MPSI concept within Eve. So she was going to do her next fleet in a week or two or something like that. It was like really soon, so I went out there, and she put us into Suicide Catalyst. We went out into Nullsec, and we came across a smart bombing praxis, and we blew up, and no idea what was going on, but her laugh and her enthusiasm for this and everyone else was contagious, so went and shipped up again and did it again. And then the whole world was opened up to me. They told me about Spectre Fleet, they told me about Bomber's Bar, they told me about Fun Inc. Because Fun Inc. also came from Agony Unleashed, they kind of pushed me over that way since they flew a lot more frequently than Redemption Road. So that's how I eventually joined Fun Inc. But yeah, it just means, like, say, I can play when I want, how I want. And for the community, I think it's the same thing. It means that we don't have to be beholden to any corporation or alliance. We don't have to show up. There's no strings attached. So if something suddenly comes up, it's not going to be held against me. Yeah, so I think
you can't kick, you can't be kicked from corp because you're not in a corporation.
Yeah, I mean, you can be blacklisted, obviously, if you're being a dick. But other than that, yeah, there's really no drawback to being part of the MPSI community. And there's tons of great content out there to be had. Every now and then, whenever there's a new group that comes up on the MPSI calendar, I'll go to a fleet. And the last one that I did was the Wormhole Police's meme fleet. I don't think I've ever sat there and laughed so much, where they go and drag the poor victim into a channel and everyone's yelling at him, get out of your vehicle, hands up, on your knees, give me the keys, and all this stuff. And, the poor person's just like, what the hell? And everyone, it was absolutely crazy. And this is just something that you can show up to. There is no side.
No stakes. You don't have to move to nullsec. You can just act up in the channel and be there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And half of the time also, not all MPSI fleets, but I would say a very good majority, we absolutely love new players coming and trying it out. And there's very patient FCs that will, explain things, and there's people within the fleet that will, hold your hand and help you. I don't know how many times in Bomber's Bar somebody will be completely confused and there's 10 people, in the chat trying to get them into the wormhole or, explain what they did wrong and they didn't catch the blops or something like that. So it's, I absolutely love the community. And Oz is absolutely wrong that it has no place in Eve. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, MPSI does have a certain role in the new player experience. Maybe not the actual welcome to Eve, but to take you a step further, to see what else is out there. To just have without any stakes, without any investments, because most have either handouts or they have SRP. You can just show up and try stuff out.
I would say the MPSI community really, really wants people to come and undock.
Yes.
That's our big thing.
I mean, those MPSI communities, they are like by nature and like famously decentralized.
Yep.
How would you like get those voices from all the communities combined, like heard in the CSM? Sort of like same question we asked earlier.
So this is something that I struggle with because I'm just one person. I make an effort to get out to as many communities as I possibly can. Unfortunately, because of the time of the day and again, just being one person, I'm not making it to everybody's. But at least, I pop in, I say hi, and I exist in a lot of servers, and we talk. And also, Eve Rookies in the last year and a half has started becoming a platform where people are coming and partnering with us. So we have like the Riftwatch Gaming. They're not part of Eve Rookies, but they're definitely a partner with us and run fleets on our behalf, and we send people their way. So Carolina AES Wormhole Corporation's the most recent addition to the horde of partners that are coming in, and we just try to meet as many people as we can, and we don't force it because people notice, and I don't think it's cool just showing up on someone's doorstep when you're running for CSM. But yeah, over the course of the year, it's just a continuously ongoing cycle. Just trying to meet as many people as possible.
Sounds like a good reason, to vote for you for CSM if you're part of one of the MPSI communities. But that was not the goal of this interview. Well, partially, I guess. Right. So in the same preparation, I asked Chat GPT like for some inspiration, and it would like to know, like, what lessons from seeing public fleets did you think do you think applies to representing the broader player base on the CSM?
Herding cats. 100% herding cats. In MPSI fleets, actually fleets in general, people don't listen. People don't read the MOTD. People come with their own, ideas on how things are going to run. I don't know how many times I've explained that we logi the way we logi in incursions because it works instead of doing something that they want to do. And it's the same thing with the CSM. People don't listen to you. People come wanting you to do their thing instead of what's better for the entire community or the game. And yeah, it's a complete reflection on each other.
In the end, it is. Yeah. I mean, you said like so. How would players that want their own thing or would like to argue about it, like, be able to reach you if you get voted / selected for the CSM?
Oh, well, crap. I'm everywhere. I mean, I'm literally everywhere. If you look me up in the Eve Discord, you can right-click, send message. You can find me in the Eve Rookies Discord. It's the easiest Discord to find, everookies.com/discord. I am on Reddit, but that's under my actual name, Petra Ann. So a little harder to find, but when you see Petra Ann with the CSM18 next to it, that's me. Yeah, just, find me, hit me up. I do answer my Eve mail. So, as people know, since they send me silly SRP requests.
Wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still waiting for the SRP on that Phoenix Navy.
You're going to be waiting for that for a very long time.
Right. So I've been through all my questions. Amoni, do you have any questions?
I guess like thinking about like I guess what would you like people to say about CSM20 at the end of the year? Like what do you think would mark, how would you mark success if you were elected and at the end of the year you're looking back on it and thinking, dang, we did a good job. What marks success for you?
I think people being happy with the communication between the people on CSM20 and the greater player community. Because, once again, you have to remember that we have absolutely no... if CCP is going to do something, they're going to do something. It's like with Equinox. I just happened to get onto the CSM where something terrible happened to Nullsec. And also something terrible to the small gang, PvP community, where Nullsec got this horrible solve mechanic, and then the Skyhooks also brought content to the small gang, and then it got taken away. We have very little effect on how, these things unfold. So, yeah, it would be getting some quality of life things in that we can take credit for, that people are happy with. And then for the rest, just trying to keep up the communication as much as we can with that pesky NDA hanging around your neck, over your head.
Yeah, you can't talk about like actual, ongoing projects, but
yeah,
your goal is not like certain outcomes or certain mechanics being changed, but mainly having clear communication about it.
Yeah, and making the player base happy with, as happy as the player base can be with just, how we have served on it, because it is a lot of work. It is an amazing amount of work. There's a lot of time and effort, blood, sweat, and tears that goes into it. A lot of anxiety, because, you never know what CCP is going to drop on your head. And, yeah, I don't think the CSM I think the CSM gets a lot more discredit than credit for what they do. And one thing I will leave on that is whatever comes out that you hate, I guarantee there's probably worse options.
That's a good call.
So
is there... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm done. My thoughts are rambling now.
I mean, it's getting to about the end of the interview. Is there anything I haven't asked yet? Is there anything that needs to be said that maybe you want to ask?
Since you guys are both, MPSIers, what would you like the CSM to ask CCP?
I want confetti bombs in HiSec. This is something I've been doing asking for forever.
I actually love that.
Yeah, just having we have fireworks. They're great, especially on Bomber's fleet. We have our extra high slot. Not everybody can fit a covert Sino, so fireworks are a main thing. But why don't we have a HiSec confetti bomb?
Why does it have to be HiSec? Why can't we have it everywhere?
Well, because then I need my focus void bombs to nude out the Oracle. But in HiSec, you can do some more fun fleets. I feel because sure, I am Bombardbar mainly. It is covert ops, and PSI, which almost by default means we are relegated to low sec and mainly null sec. Because you can't light Sinos in HiSec. And just roaming around in bombers, you're just suiciding yourself.
I will 100% put that on my quality of life list that is growing. I love that.
I would be forever grateful.
Well, I'm gonna take along with that and say that I would like an extra slot just for festival launchers. Because I love fireworks so much, and I can never fit them on my ships because I need guns.
I like
Since
that
we're
idea
talking
too.
about this, why can't we just have a specialized fireworks ship that gets a rate of fire bonus and has just no high slots, no hard turret hard points, but just be able to fit 10 firework launchers?
Well, we have luxury yachts, right, that are pretty much useless. So why can't we just fit tons of festival launchers on those?
Well,
Because they're
there
so
you go.
expensive.
Well, then we just get them out, for free again with the update.
Or put out a, Sisters of Eve festival ship.
Yes, there you go.
I guess that marks your success as CSM if you get more confetti and more fireworks into Eve.
Well, actually, my personal mark of success, if I can get logs for corp hangers, that will be a major success for me.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That you don't need to use station containers. Oh, that's also a good one.
Because if I have to buy another set of guns for the incursion Vindy because somebody forgot to put them back into the hold, I'm going to scream.
Yeah, you don't need to put in Discord like, hey, I gave out the fuel and the redeemer to this guy, and then, wait, who has it now? You can just see who took it out and see who put it back in.
Funny enough, whenever I have been discussing things like ACL hanger, don't think the ACL hangers are going to happen anytime soon, but things like that, I always use Bomber's Bar as a comparison because I think Everkey Incursions and Bomber's Bar probably have the exact same pain points as far as shared assets.
Yep.
Who has that?
Lots of logistics there. Who took it out?
Yep. So if we could have hanger logs, and we have logs on freaking everything. Why? I don't know why hangers got forgotten.
Well, that sounds a good addition to your quality of life changes list.
Indeed.
Right. I guess lastly, why should players vote for you?
If you want a player that is literally involved in every asset of the Eve gameplay, except for Sov, sorry. Noel, you're going to be very well represented. I guarantee it. But every other asset of gameplay, and, who cares deeply about the players and communities within Eve, then I am definitely the CSM for you. But as I say with every interview, if, I haven't said enough to convince you, find someone that has the skills and expertise that do. Don't vote for people just because of the group or the area that they represent. Look at their actual knowledge, because that's what you need on the CSM. That is the most effective thing.
That's good. That and join an MPSI community like Bomber's Bar,
Absolutely.
There's a 24-hour fleet coming up. Some shameless self-block right there.
It better be on a day that I'm available.
It's
October 31st through...
Yeah, it's next Friday.
1st.
I hate you guys. You're dead to me now.
It's a 24-hour fleet. I'm sure somewhere in those 24 hours you can join.
I'm in Germany for a concert.
Oh, God. Another one. Okay, well, that's it for me. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you guys for doing this.